You're now watching Sports Bettor's Paradise on the Bet Rivers Network.
All right, Jimmy, Ott and Paul Stone talking about the Michigan teams this week, and it doesn't get any bigger than this. And the Michigan Wolverines, after a 50-6 win, they're giving you a little bit of hope, maybe going into the Big House and taking on this Ohio State team. 20 is the spread, 20-44 and 20-43 rather for Ohio State, and multiple years of revenge. I know you've been at the Stone household. You've been counting the days since Ohio State beat Michigan last, Paul. Where's the counter up to now?
The counter, Jimmy, is up to 1,823 days as we record here on November 26th. And I think Ohio State's probably felt a little pain on each of those days. You know, normally I'd be looking at taking the huge underdog in this type of rivalry, but Michigan's lack of offense won, and even more importantly, just Ohio State's posture here. The fact that, we saw what they did last week against Indiana, and Kirk Cignetti scored a meaningless touchdown late, and they'll score meaningless touchdowns, multiple, plural, against Michigan if they're in the position. So I think they might make up for some lost time here. Ohio State's got, in my opinion, the best roster in all of college football, and I think they'll try to win by obviously as many as they can. So this game's a hard pass for me.
All right. So Ohio State, I like Ohio State minus the points here in this one. I think that Will Howard is getting better and better with his supporting cast, his new supporting cast since coming over from Kansas State, 22-26 against Indiana. And boy, started out rough, 3 and out and a 70-yard touchdown drive for Indiana, but boy, they completely dominated after that point, especially that defense, man, holding the Indiana Hoosiers to over 200 yards less than their average. So just 151 total yards in the game. All right, let's go to Michigan State and Rutgers here. Michigan State trying to get bowl eligible in Jonathan Smith's first year. It's been better than anticipated. It was kind of a late hire, and you wondered about the fit, but I think he's going to do just fine in due time. You just had to get him away from his alma mater, Oregon State. We just didn't know. We know he knows the landscape there. Rutgers. This was my favorite. This is my favorite win total back in the summer because they just didn't play. They didn't play Michigan, didn't play Ohio State, didn't play Oregon, didn't play Penn State. But they're now at 6-5. They lost a tough one. They had 30 first downs in a 24-15 fourth quarter lead and lost last week to Illinois. Sparty's schedule is way tougher. They played Oregon, Ohio State, Michigan, Indiana. None of those on Rutgers' schedule. I like Michigan State, more battle-tested team at home with something on the line. First-year coaches, it's a big deal to become bowl eligible.
Yeah, Rutgers already bowl eligible. Michigan State, as you indicated, needing a victory to become bowl eligible in Jonathan Smith's first season there in East Lansing. And as you indicated, it would be quite the accomplishment for this Spartan team to become bowl eligible. They lost a lot of players in the transfer portal, lost a lot of good players, especially on defense. One of their top players, defensive tackle Harmon, starring for Oregon, one of the better up-front defensive players in the entire Big 12, but unfortunately from Michigan State's perspective for the Oregon Ducks instead of the Michigan State Spartans. So he had some adversity, and now he's in position to get them in a bowl game. Rutgers, they would be on a 3-game winning streak if it weren't for last week when they did lose the game to Illinois on a 40-yard touchdown pass with 4 seconds to go. So a really tough 38-31 loss for the Scarlet Knights. I'm going to pass here. I think these two teams are really evenly matched. I'll be rooting for your Spartans here, but no opinion on my end.
Earn a chance at $10,000 in bonus money with Bet Rivers Prop Packs. Place NBA same-game parlays to collect player card pro packs and earn rewards. You win based on how your player performs. Log into BetRivers.com with the Bet Rivers app and place your bet and get your pack. Bet Rivers right now. Rivalry week in the back as well. Western versus Eastern. A bowl game on the line here, and Eastern Michigan was it 3 years in a row, 6 or 8 years. I mean, they have been going to bowl games up at Upsalia as of late. Western is 6.5 and 56.5 over the Eagles of Eastern. The Eagles, it was schedule related, probably 4-1 early. Lost that tough one, 29-28 to Toledo, and now they've been 1-5 the second half. Western 6.5. I think you like the points here, Paul.
Yeah, nothing, Jimmy, too overly sophisticated in my handicap of this game. Eastern Michigan's point spread performance under Chris Creighton as a road underdog has been well chronicled around sports betting circles. Eastern Michigan 2-1 this year against the spread as a road underdog, but since the beginning of the 2016 season as a road underdog, Eastern Michigan 30-10 against the spread as a road underdog, 75% over 40 games. That's pretty good there. You know, Western Michigan in this series over the past 30 years and change, they hold a little bit better, I think, than a 2-1 advantage in terms of wins. So overall, they have dominated this series. But in recent years, Eastern Michigan's gotten their fair share of victories. They've won 7 of the last 12 meetings between these schools, and their point spread record, rather, in the last 13 meetings, 9-3-1 against the spread for Eastern Michigan. I'll take Eastern Michigan plus 6.5 here over Western Michigan.
All right, and then finally, Northern Illinois, 12.5, 44.5 at home against Central Michigan. Central Michigan last week, it was rivalry week for them last week, and they did have an inspired effort for McElwain in his last year up with the Chippewas, but I think there may be a little bit of an emotional letdown spot here for Central going to Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois, after being a little fat and happy after the upset against Notre Dame, got a little sloppy. They have kind of righted the ship again and playing much better ball as of late. I'll lay it with the Huskies here, minus a 12.5 at home against Central Michigan.
I'll tell you, just as a side note, following Northern Illinois' stunning victory at Notre Dame in week 2 as a 28-point underdog, I don't think anybody would have predicted that the Huskies would be below 500 in MAC play in conference games going into the final week of the season. So that's another thing to kind of underscore the craziness of college football here in 2024. Northern Illinois, they're just 3-4 again in the MAC. They have failed to cover their last 7 games as a double-digit favorite dating back to the start of the 2020 season. I'm not going to be involved here. I'm gonna pass. It'll be interesting, like you said, to see what Central has left in the tank here for the Huskies. Huskies certainly the better team here, but it's a pass for me.
All right. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. We certainly give thanks to all of our supporters and viewers, listeners here on our podcast with our college football picks each and every week. Hope it is a profitable holiday weekend for you and your family this Thanksgiving weekend. For Paul Stone, I'm Jimmy Ott here on the Sports Bettor's Paradise on the Bet Rivers Network.